Next, we have specification number 3, which asks us to describe the development of strains of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, including MRSA, as an example of natural selection. Antibiotic resistance begins with mutation in bacteria. A mutation is a random change in the DNA of a bacterium. Because bacteria reproduce very quickly, these mutations can occur fairly often during reproduction. Occasionally, a mutation may give a bacterium a useful characteristic, such as resistance to a particular antibiotic. This means the antibiotic can no longer kill or affect that bacterium. When an antibiotic is used, it acts as a selection pressure. Most of the bacteria, which are not resistant, are killed by the antibiotic. However, any bacteria that have the resistance mutation survive because they are unaffected by the drug. These surviving bacteria then continue to reproduce rapidly, passing the resistance gene to their offspring. As this process continues, the number of resistant bacteria increases in the population. Over time, the population becomes dominated by antibiotic-resistant bacteria. This is natural selection in action, where the environment, the antibiotic, selects for individuals with advantageous traits, resistance. In some cases, bacteria such as methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, known as MRSA, have developed resistance to multiple antibiotics. These are often called superbugs because they are very difficult to treat. As shown in the diagram, bacteria reproduce very quickly, and during reproduction random mutations can occur in the DNA. Sometimes these mutations produce bacteria that are resistant to an antibiotic. When an antibiotic is used, it kills the normal non-resistant bacteria. However, the bacteria that have the resistance mutation survive because the antibiotic does not affect them. These surviving resistant bacteria now have less competition, so they reproduce rapidly and pass the resistance allele to their offspring. This is an example of natural selection where the environment, the antibiotic, selects for the bacteria that are best adapted to survive. Over time, the resistant bacteria increase in number until the whole population becomes resistant to the antibiotic. This process can happen more quickly when antibiotics are misused, such as not finishing a full course, because some bacteria survive and continue to multiply, increasing resistance in the population. Moreover, MRSA originally comes from Staphylococcus aureus, a bacterium that can normally live harmlessly on the skin, nose, and throat, but can cause serious infection if it enters the body through wounds or surgical sites. MRSA is especially dangerous in hospitals, where patients may already be weak or have open wounds. It can spread easily and may even enter the bloodstream, causing serious conditions such as sepsis. Because MRSA is resistant to many antibiotics, infections are harder to treat and often require stronger or alternative medicines. Overall, antibiotic resistance develops through natural selection. Random mutations create variation, antibiotics act as a selection pressure, and resistant bacteria survive and reproduce. Over time, this leads to an increasing population of resistant bacteria.